Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, SGA holds their annual Ask Away event. Find out what students had to say.
Plus, another school shooting took place in California last week. Get the full details in our national news update.
And a beloved Quinnipiac landmark is this year's Hamden ornament. All this and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Good evening and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Carrie Golden.
And I'm Cassidy Berger. SGA held their annual Ask Away event where students can openly discuss controversial topics. Q30's Ethan Mcaa went to the event and has more.
On Tuesday night, the Student Government Association presented Ask Away. What Ask Away is it's where people with different opinions can come together and debate, but in a peaceful manner. I sat down with Esau Green to talk about what this special event that's held year-round means to him.
I hope people will gain the understanding of civil discourse, the understanding that we don't always see eye to eye and that people come from a vast difference in perspectives and backgrounds. But the importance is that, having a place at a table, have the option to meet someone eye to eye and hear their background and them giving detail into their lives and their opinions will hopefully understand, like a lot of people understand that we each don't have to agree, but being able to respectfully agree to disagree is important and will allow us to build more relationships as people and as a university.
So my favorite thing about Ask Away is just the opportunity that people get to come into a space and have a conversation with everyone here about a wide range of topics. A lot of the times, like as a political science major, something I get in classes, but like a nursing major or like a PA major, OT, like they don't, like it's science, it's math, like beyond freshman year when you're doing your like core like stuff for being at a university, like you don't get an opportunity to like engage in those discussions. It's just the opportunity to come here and talk about things that are my favorite part.
From Q30, I'm Ethan Mcaa. Back to you guys.
The Hamden Police Department is issuing departmental charges against Officer Devin Eaton. Acting Police Chief John Capiello has recommended that the Hamden Board of Police Commissioners terminate Eaton's employment. These charges come from Eaton's actions when he discharged a weapon 13 times on an unarmed couple in New Haven back in April. Eaton is currently on unpaid administrative leave and has been criminally charged in the case.
Student Government Association held its third special election of the semester. Genesis Iskowa was elected this evening as the new senator for multiculturalism. SGA's multiculturalism senator position was left vacant after Barbara Herinkova was elected as the new vice president for finance.
I myself am an international student from Honduras, so I felt like if I wanted to be heard, other people want to be heard too, and I wanted to be that voice that could represent them and represent myself too.
The School of Health Sciences, Medicine, and Nursing were awarded a $68,000 grant from the Connecticut Health and Educational Facilities Authority. The grant will go towards improving simulation education in the area of women's health. CHEFA serves to provide financial assistance to educational institutions, healthcare providers, child care providers, and other eligible not-for-profit entities. This week, Quinnipiac is celebrating International Education Week. The week kicked off with an International Student Night on York Hill, followed by a Passport Day on Monday, a Place at the Table discussion series, and will end with the Galpin International Grant discussion tomorrow night.
Today is the National Transgender Day of Remembrance to pay their respects to the trans and gender diverse people murdered worldwide. Between October 2018 and September 2019, 331 people died in acts of anti-transgender violence. Since the year 2008, 3,317 people have been killed worldwide. This Day of Remembrance was started in 1999 and has since been created to help raise visibility for transgender people and address the issues the community faces. The Community Action Project is tabling for Project Angel Tree this week. Project Angel Tree works with the Salvation Army to provide children from underprivileged families with gifts for the holidays. The Community Action Project is the largest community service organization at Quinnipiac. Project Angel Tree is one of the 40 service events that CAP does every semester. Yesterday, the university held a teach-in in the Piazza centered around Indigenous people. This is part of the Indigenous People Initiative. The event consisted of discussions and speakers to talk about how indigeneity plays out in many different contexts and also worldwide.
Dr. Yusef Salom, one of the 5 boys convicted of the 1989 Central Park jogger case, spoke at Yale's Battle Chapel in New Haven last night. Salom was 15 years old at the time, and throughout the event, he talked about his experiences going to prison and what it did to him. Salom and the other 4 boys at the time, Corey Wise, Kevin Richardson, Raymond Santana, and Antron Mcaa, were falsely accused of raping Trisha Miley in 2000. In 2002, the true rapist, Mateus Reyes, confessed to the crime, and the 5 men were exonerated after serving up to 15 years in prison. The men sued the city and state of New York and settled for almost $45 million. Kay Pattyfoot and Luca Triant went to the debate last Thursday between the college Democrats and Republicans. Find out how it went.
On Thursday, November 14th, QU Democrats and college Republicans co-hosted a debate, while the Political Society Association moderated it.
I think the debate went really well. There was a lot of civil discussion on both sides of the aisle, so I thought it was very good when talking about such contentious issues within the political climate today.
Some of the topics that were discussed throughout the debate was immigration, gun control, and Trump's impeachment increase.
Trump has secured a safe third country agreement with Mexico, which basically means that if you are a refugee coming through Central America, you can't travel all the way through Mexico and then come to the United States and asylum. You have to stay in Mexico, which makes a certain amount of sense.
We obviously didn't see eye to eye on most things.
We have our children going to schools, and it's more scary for the parents than the children. I think it just says something about the need for these sort of bans, these sort of background checks, and these sort of buyback programs.
So law-abiding citizens will give up their guns, but the people who want to inflict harm still have them. So that makes everything less safe, actually, because now the public who are law-abiding can't defend themselves.
Both sides consisted of 6 students each.
We wish more people showed up to listen to the different perspectives and ways we could handle these issues within the United States, because they are important and they do affect our future and everyday lives.
The QU Dems and the college Republicans hope to do another debate in the near future. I'm Kay Pattyfoot, Q30 News.
The Albert Schweitzer Institute is having a coat drive until Friday. Members of the Quinnipiac community can drop off new or gently used coats at the Institute on the corner of New Road and Mount Carmel Avenue. All donations will be donated to the Columbus House, which is a shelter in New Haven. When we return to the Q30 Newscast, the holiday break is just a few days away. See how other students are preparing.
And with the election just a year away, Matt Bruin will give us the latest in his political news update. Stay with us.
Guys, it's jacket season out here in Hamden. Weather's starting to get colder walking to class. However, we'll experience some weather increases in terms of temperatures in the next couple of days. Find out more when we come back.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love. even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Students for Sensible Drug Policy hosted Q's with Kevin Parker on Monday night. Kevin Parker is Quinnipiac's prevention and wellness educator. Parker discussed issues brought up by students, including the student conduct process, the efficacy of alcohol EDU, and the pub coming to the York Hill campus. The students also proposed raising the standard of evidence in conduct hearings to strict scrutiny instead of the current standard, which requires administration to show it is more likely than not that the student committed the act. Quinnipiac students are invited to attend the Black Student Union and African and Caribbean Student Union's annual gala. Students are nominated for awards, and the gala celebrates students who are recognized for their academic achievement, student involvement, community outreach, and other criteria. The event takes place tomorrow in BurtCon and begins at 7 p.m.
The Mixed Martial Arts Club has hosted self-defense classes all throughout the fall semester. These classes are taught by Robert R.J. De Silva, who is a Quinnipiac student and a trained instructor. The goal of the classes are to teach self-defense techniques. De Silva says that these techniques are beneficial for anyone looking to learn self-defense. However, a real-life situation can always be different. This year, a place near and dear to Quinnipiac will be the 2019 Hamden Christmas Ornament. The Sleeping Giant State Park was selected by the Hamden Department of Recreation as this year's holiday ornament. This ornament is the 28th piece to the annual collection of Hamden landmarks. Ornaments are $10 each, and the ornament features a photo of the state park along with a short description of its history.
Thanksgiving break is quickly approaching. Carrie, what are your plans for break?
Well, Cassidy, in the past 6 months, I have spent one day in my home, so I will be home relaxing and watching Disney+. How about you?
I'm really looking forward to being home with my family before I head off to Washington, D.C. next semester. However, not all students leave campus for break. Kaylee Heffler talked to students who plan to stay on campus over next week's break.
The holiday season is quickly approaching here at Quinnipiac, and our first week-long break of the semester is here. Students will be leaving this Friday, but the university will be closing down the residential and academic buildings.
So the residence halls close this Friday, November 22nd at 6 o'clock, and residence life staff will be going through all of the residence halls and all of the QU-owned spaces at that time to do our Thanksgiving closing procedures, and also it's a health and safety inspection.
For students who are not able to leave Friday, whether that is because home is too far or they just need extra time to prepare for the break, Quinnipiac allows students to fill out a late stay request form.
The residence halls are closed, the buildings are closed for the break, but we do allow students who have received special permission to stay. And students in that situation should have already filled out our Thanksgiving late stay or break housing request. It went out a few weeks ago. And we allow students to stay if they have special needs for housing, so we're happy to do that.
The process to stay late in your residential building is easy and beneficial to students who can't get home right away on Friday.
I had to stay late for Thanksgiving break, and Quinnipiac made that really easy for me. They accommodated me through the entire process, and that really made all the difference for me.
Before students leave for Thanksgiving break, Residential Life would like students to run through a Thanksgiving closing checklist. This checklist includes unplugging all electrical items, turning off the lights, close and locking your windows, making sure your room is clean and trash is empty, taking valuables home, and making sure you lock your door. While students may be gone, the university offices will remain open until next Wednesday, including public safety. For Q30 News, I'm Kaylee Heffler.
The impeachment hearings continue to make political headlines throughout the week.
Matt Bruin is here to tell us about President Trump's reactions in this week's political news update. Matt?
Thank you, Cassidy and Carrie. After another day of the impeachment hearings on Capitol Hill, Trump seems to be becoming more confident in the way the inquiry is playing out. Yesterday, former National Security Council aide Tim Morrison and Special U.S. Representative for Ukraine Kurt Volker took to the spotlight. During this testimony, both answered with certainty that no bribery occurred within the White House. Morrison said that he never received any indication that there was a quid pro quo with Ukraine, and Volker said that President Trump never linked any probe of the Burisma or the Bidens to any military aid. President Trump referred to yesterday's testimony on Twitter as a great day for Republicans and a great day for the country. Also on Capitol Hill today, Gordon Sunland, the ambassador to the European Union, also testified before Congress. During the testimony, Sunland said that President Trump told him he never wanted a quid pro quo. Instead, he said that President Trump only wanted the Ukrainian president to do the right thing. Sunland also said during his testimony that no one, including President Trump, has ever told him that foreign aid said that during his testimony that no one, including the president, ever told him that foreign aid was supposed to happen with any of the investigations. Trump responded to today's testimony by saying that the impeachment witch hunt was over. Trump also said, while talking to the press on the White House, that this afternoon that he wants nothing from Ukraine. Right now, the 5th Democratic primary debate is in full swing. Currently, 10 candidates are taking the stage, which is 2 less candidates than there was in the last month's debate. The 2 candidates no longer participating in the debate include former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, who recently dropped out of the race, and former HUD Secretary Julian Castro. In order to qualify for tonight's debate, candidates needed to hit 3% in approval polls or at least 5% in 2 early state polls. They also needed to get donations from at least 165,000 unique donors. Former Vice President Joe Biden is currently in the lead. That is all that I have for this week's political update. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Matt. When we come back, Eric Kerr gives us our full weather forecast heading into the holiday break.
Plus, later, Hannah Mirsky gives us a national news update. We'll be right back.
Oh, hey there. Just a typical Q30 News ad, right?
Or an action-packed sports pause ad.
But it's a Quinnipiac Tonight ad.
From Hampton to Hollywood, we're your...
Nope. Quinnipiac Tonight ad.
Today, President Olean announced
It's a Quinnipiac Tonight ad. The Bobcat tennis team has just scored their first touchdown of the season. Quinnipiac Tonight ad.
Live sketch comedy, improv, hysterical pre-tapes, and more at Quinnipiac Tonight. Thursdays, 9:30 in the Piazza.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Now, I know what you're all thinking and want to know, will we have snow leading up to Turkey Day?
Carrie, I sure hope not. So let's check in with Eric on the weather forecast to see what the week holds. Eric?
Guys, I'll answer that question. There will be no snow coming up in this forecast, but I'll quickly go over some of the other things you expect to see from the town. So over here we have a lot of temperatures in the high 30s over here. Torrington looking with 36, Danbury also at 36, and Norwich also at 36 degrees. We have Hartford and New London rounding out about 37 and 39 for New Haven. Those are the nightly temperatures right now. We'll take you to the 7-day forecast now. And here's what it's looking like on your screen. Wednesday, was cloudy all day, a high of 43 with a low of 32. However, it's going to start to warm up within the next couple of days. Thursday, it's going to be sunny, high of 49, low of 37. And then Friday, we'll get all the way up to 53 for your high. So it's going to be nice warm temperatures coming out of Quinnipiac to go back to your homes for the Thanksgiving break. However, it's going to drop really quick. Low of 26 is going to be that day. Also, we have Saturday with a high of 44, a low of 32. Sunday is going to have some rain, kind of opposite what you expect from the way this forecast is going out. High of 44, low of 32. Monday will be 46 degrees there, a low of 30 over there, and then Tuesday will be mostly cloudy, high of 31 and a low of 37. That's all for my report. We'll take it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Eric. Well, hopefully there is no snow and your weather forecast is right. A lot has been happening nationally. Chick-fil-A released their list of charity donations, and another school shooting has taken place in California. Hannah Mursky has the latest. Hannah?
Thanks, Carrie. And lots going on across the country, so let's jump right into it. Syracuse University has had multiple racial incidents the past 2 weeks. A white supremacist manifesto was reportedly airdropped to students in Byrd Library just a day after racist graffiti was marked on a campus building. No students have come forward to say they have received the document directly, and it is yet to be confirmed that it was airdropped. All fraternity-related activities have been suspended for the rest of the fall semester. Fraternity chapters will be required to attend diversity training programs starting next semester. On Monday, the fast food chain restaurant Chick-fil-A released a list of the charities that have donated to over the past few years. The Salvation Army and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes were surprised to see they were no longer on the list. Both organizations have been linked to anti-LGBTQ beliefs. Chick-fil-A's company chairman, Dan T. Cathy, has confirmed his past donations to prevent same-sex marriages. And he believes in the, quote, biblical definition of a family unit, end quote. Protests prevented Chick-fil-A from opening up in other locations. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes has not commented. The Salvation Army was upset to learn a long-time partner has cut fundings and believes, quote, they are the largest provider of poverty relief to the LGBTQ population, end quote. And finally, Saugus High School in California has felt a tremendous loss after a student opened fire during class on his 16th birthday last Thursday. 2 classmates were killed and 5 were injured. The shooter took their own life after pulling the handgun on his fellow classmates. He was being treated for the self-inflicted wound until he died in the hospital on Friday night. The motive of the shooting is still unknown. The school has not detected any signs of violent activity before the incident. Investigators now believe the assault was planned. That's all I have for national news this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Hannah. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families during this very difficult time.
When we come back, Nick Lewis gives us a Quinnipiac sports update.
And I give my final goodbye here on the Q30 Newscast right after this.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look! Let's get it going. Sports Pause starts right now. Sports Pause. Sports Pause. Sports Pause. Sports Pause. Sports Pause. Sports Pause.
Sports Pause. Sports Pause.
Sports Pause. Cam Young drives in, bucket.
3 minutes in, Rashawn Daly's shot hits the post. However, Eamon Whalen is there to
through the center. Fortunato scores past Adam Huska. Ties the game up at 8 with a ripper past Jake McGregor.
He will keep it in his zone.
Top 5 plays of the week.
That's the top 5 plays.
This has been Sports Pod.
Thanks for sticking with us. A Connecticut native and prospect for the Minnesota Twins passed away in his sleep on Monday. 23-year-old Ryan Costello apparently died of natural causes and was found in his hotel room in Australia. Costello was traded to the Twins from the Seattle Mariners last year. This is a devastating loss to the team. However, fall sports are wrapping up and winter sports are heating up. Luckily, Nick Lewis is in studio to fill you in on all things Quinnipiac sports. Nick?
Well, thanks, guys. This past week has been full of action with the women's basketball team getting their first win against Bucknell on Saturday. And as I said, hosting Bucknell, this is the second time in program history the Bobcats have played against Bucknell. You see Taylor Hurd In the starting lineup for that game, right away, Ellie Mack hits a 3, finishes with 30 points for the Bisons, and Kiara Bikini making her return to the court for the first time in December. She had 5 points in the game. Cap hits another 3-pointer off an assist, and the Bobcats beat Bucknell 76-69. And sticking with women's basketball, first year Makayla Morris has earned MCAA Rookie of the Week after her performances at Yale and Bucknell. Morris was an important part of the Bobcats offense in the 2 games last week in the paint and from the free throw line. She scored 29 points and only missed 7 shots across both games, and her 17 points were the most for a rookie since March of 2016. Morris helped the Bobcats keep the ball in their possession as she grabbed 11 rebounds and had 3 steals during both games. The Bobcats faced a tough test on the road on Sunday as they traveled to College Park, Maryland to face the number 9 Maryland Terrapins in the Xfinity Center. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team is scored outside the USCHO's top 20 poll for the 2nd straight week. Leading the poll is the Minnesota State ice hockey team with Cornell at the number 2 spot. The 6-4-1 Bobcats received 52 votes to be in the poll behind Maine's 83 votes. Traveling to Cornell on Friday and Colgate on Sunday, the Bobcats have a good opportunity to get back in the top 20. More hockey news, goaltender Keith Petrozelli won ECAC Goaltender of the Week after his performances against Union and Rensselaer last weekend. He saved 42 of 44 shots he faced in those 2 games. And that's Quinnipiac Sports. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Before we sign off for Thanksgiving break, a local radio station is hosting its annual Thanksgiving for All event.
KC 101 will bring its Stuff a Truck food bus drive to Hampton Plaza on November 21st and 22nd. The bus will be there from 6 a.m. on both days to collect frozen turkeys, financial donations, and non-perishable food items. Similar events will take place in Oxford and Derby next week.
Well, that is all the time we have for the Q30 Newscast. Be sure to stay up to date by following us on Twitter at Q30 News and check out our web content by going to q30tv.com.
Before we say goodnight, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here at the Q30 Newscast, both past and present. I am so lucky to have worked alongside so many hardworking and talented people. Thank you for teaching me and always pushing me to do better. This experience is something I will never forget. So for the last time, from all of us here at Q30, my hometown anchor, Cassidy Berger, I'm Carrie Golden. Good night, Bobcats.